We're going to start off with our conference agenda. Do you have a roll call, please?
Bill is Actor, Bartlett, here. Best, Duffy, here. Labor, here. Deputy Director James, here. Director Lazare.
Here. Administrators report.
Oh, hello. Thank you. Take two. I must have taken a little nap there. Thank you, Director. First on the administrator's report. Oh, okay. Celia's on her way, so we'll wait, Janice, if you don't mind. Okay, so we'll start then with the public hearings. We have a public hearing regarding the Passaic County revision for the citizen participation plan for the Community Development Block Grant Program. We have our economic development, come right up front there.
Thank you very much.
Open meeting second.
This hearing is being held in accordance with the Federal Regulation 24 CFR Part 91 and Passaic County's plan for citizen participation. Passaic County has prepared and revised a citizen participation plan for the Community Development Block Grant Program. Deborah Hoffman will now give a overview.
Thank you very, very much. Passaic County has revised the Passaic County Citizen Participation Plan and requests comments from the public. The county provides for and encourages citizens to participate in the development, revision, amendment, adoption, and implementation of the Citizen Participation Plan, the assessment of fair housing, the consolidated plan, the annual action plan, and the consolidated annual performance and evaluation report, aka paper. And the county encourages the participation by low and moderate income persons, particularly those living in areas designated as revitalization areas or in slum and blighted areas, and in the areas, thank you so much, in the areas, where the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development funds are proposed to be used, and by residents of predominantly low and moderate income neighborhoods. With respect to the public participation initiatives included in the plan, the county will take appropriate actions to encourage the participation of all of its citizens, including minorities, non-English speaking persons, and persons with disabilities. Vision. Added language pertaining to broadband providers and those engaged in closing the digital divide, and also hazard management agencies. These changes are being made to comply with the requirements of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and will be reflected in the preparation of the consolidated plan for fiscal year 2019 and the fair housing plan next year. The current revision to the citizen participation plan adds the following language to the document. The county encourages the participation of local and regional institutions, the continuum of care, businesses, developers, nonprofit organizations, philanthropic organizations, broadband, internet service providers, organizations engaged in narrowing the digital divide, agencies whose primary responsibilities include the management of flood-prone areas, public land or water resources, and emergency management agencies and community-based and faith-based organizations in the process of developing, revising, amending, adopting, and implementing all documents covered by this plan. This will be achieved through stakeholder interviews, focus groups, and/or public meetings. A copy of the revised citizen participation plan has been distributed throughout the county in place of public display since June 14, 2017, and is located on the county website. Comments from the public were received by July 14, 2017. It is anticipated that the Passaic County Board of Chosen Freeholders will adopt the amended citizen participation plan at their regularly scheduled meeting on July 18, 2017. If anyone have any comments or questions, or if the public has any questions, we'd love to entertain them now.
I want to thank you. I've had the privilege of chairing planning and economic development a couple of times, including this year. CDBG is one of those unrecognized but very important flows of federal funding administering, really for all kinds of projects, also all different parts of the county, different economic circumstances, different urban or rural profiles, and I appreciate that we're managing it so well, and I appreciate that there's a process there for seeking citizen input, and I've helped answer constituent questions in places like Wayne about what CDBG
Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Best.
Yes.
Duffy.
Yes.
Lepore. Deputy Director James. Director Lazare.
Anyone wishing to be heard? You will come up to the podium.
Regarding the participation plan.
Participation. Right.
Just this.
Seeing no one at the podium, move to close the public portion. Second.
Duffy and Actor. Roll call.
Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Best.
Yes.
Duffy. Lepore. Deputy Director James. Director Lazare.
Yes. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
From there.
Duffy and Actor.
Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Best.
Yes.
Duffy. Lepore. Deputy Director James. Director Lazare.
Yes.
And we also have a second public hearing, Director, on the annual action plan for fiscal year 2017 for the Community Development Block Grant.
This public hearing is being held in accordance with the federal regulations 24 CFR Part 91, Passaic County's plan for citizen participation. Passaic County has prepared a new annual action plan for fiscal year 2017 for the Community Development Block Grant Program. Deborah Hoffman, and I'll give an overview.
Thank you. Passaic County has prepared the Passaic County Community Development Block Grant Program Annual Action Plan for fiscal year 2017, in accordance with the objectives of the 5-year consolidated plan, which is in effect between fiscal year 2013 and fiscal year 2017. The county will receive $788,241 from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Community Development Block Grant Funds for the fiscal year 2017 program year that runs from September 1, 2017 to August 31st, 2018. Activities in 8 communities and 3 nonprofit agencies have been recommended for funding. A summary of the projects recommended for funding has been distributed throughout the county and placed on public display as well on the county website. And I'll just give you a quick overview. The Passaic County has prepared this fiscal year 2017 plan in accordance with the objectives of the 5-year consolidated plan. As I said, we've managed the Community Development Block Grant Program since 2008. Between fiscal year 2008 and fiscal year 2016, we received over $7.8 million, and then I listed your documents for fiscal year. The objective of the CDBG program is to assist low and moderate income residents and individuals with special needs for pursuing benefit in the county of Passaic and the 11 communities participating in the Urban County CDBG program. Those include Bloomingdale, Haledon, Hawthorne, Little Falls, North Haledon, Compton Lakes, Prospect Park, Totowa, Wanacue, West Millbury, and Woodland Park. In addition, nonprofit agencies provide services to low, moderate income individuals in 11 participating municipalities are also eligible to receive funding. No more than 15% of the grant, the entire grant, may be utilized for public service activities. Within the past 5 years, examples of funded projects include storm drainage systems, renovation of the I-7 Memorial Library, as an example, in Compton Lakes, installation of ADA curb ramps, we installed sanitary sewer systems and bathroom facilities in Spray Park and Hofstra Park and Prospect Park, installation of sewer lining in many of the sites in Totowa, hopefully their sewer systems are leaking, and installation of storm and sanitary sewers in Woodland Park, on Woodland and Dazzle Lane, and Rockland Avenue, etc. In addition, Catholic Family and Community Services and Newbridge Services have provided services to homebound seniors. CASA has provided court-appointed advocacy services to children. CDB funding applications from municipalities and nonprofit organizations are issued in January of each year, are due back in March. For fiscal year 2017, applications were due on March 13, 2017. The first public hearing for fiscal year 2017 was held on February 3rd at our offices at 930 Riverview Drive in Totowa, New Jersey. Applications were reviewed by the Planning and Economic Development Committee of the State County Board of Chosen Freeholders on April 18th. This is the second public hearing at which we welcome comments on the fiscal year 2017 action plan. Just very, very quickly, the action plan includes the following funding. For Bloomingdale, $80,000 for Henry Place reconstruction. Township of Little Falls, $80,000 for roadway improvements in Coney Road Road and Miranda Street. Little Falls Public Library, $20,000 for ADA door actuators, like automatic door openers. Borough of North Haledon, Beulah Cultural Center ADA accessibility, $50,000. Borough of Totowa, sanitary sewer lining project, phase 7, $80,000. Borough of Wanacue Housing Rehabilitation Program. If you remember, we used to run a housing rehabilitation program funded by CDBG, and we've just, as the grants decreased over the years, it's very labor intensive, so we were not able to continue that. Wanacue has some matching funding, and they asked for $42,100 to help them rehabilitate housing in homes that are owned by low and moderate income individuals. Typically, these are roofs, ADA accessibility, and Township of West Milford Transportation Program Vehicle, $57,900 to help their seniors go to doctor's offices, grocery stores, pharmacy, banks, post office, etc. Borough Woodland Park, Havendale Avenue, water main replacement, $105,000. And Borough Prospect Park, an actuated traffic control system with pedestrian actuation, $70,593. This is going to match additional funding that we're reprogramming from prior fiscal years of about $76,000, so they'll have over $147,000 available for this traffic light on Planton and 8 North 8th Street. Very dangerous intersection. Nonprofits that are proposed to be funded, Catholic Family Community Services for $30,000, excuse me. Fair Housing Council of Northern New Jersey for $5,000. They provide counseling for our residents if they feel that they've been discriminated against and cannot find a place to live. And also CASA, court-appointed special advocates, $10,000 to assist children. And the total grant, as I said, was $788,241.
Motion to open up the public session. James Bartlett.
Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Best. Duffy. Ford. Deputy Director James. Director Lazare.
Yes. Does anyone wish to be heard on the 2017 action plan for the CDBG? Speak now.
Seeing no one at the podium, I move to close the public portion. Second.
Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Best. Duffy. Ford. Deputy Director James. Director Lazare.
Yes. Have a motion to open public hearing. Bartlett and Actor.
Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Best. Duffy. Ford. Deputy Director James. Director Lazare.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. We're still waiting for Ms. Steely to arrive, and actually that's secret. No, I don't see her. We're going to go to the presentation of this year's Open Space Committee grant award recommendation to the board. Be done by our Open Space Coordinator, Ms. Kathleen Karen. Kathleen, welcome.
Thank you. So I just wanted to let you know you do have a copy of this presentation, and then behind that is the narrative, goes into a little more detail.
Talking loud as you can do that. So
I know I'm very soft-spoken, except when...
get that library voice.
So these are the 2017 recommendations for applications that the committee received and reviewed. The first one is for the Bottom House, that's the American Labor Museum. They have been funded previously. It is, of course, as everyone knows, it's the site of laborers who couldn't have them in Patterson, so the Bottoms allowed them to have them at their home in Hilton. The grant will fund repair of the roof. There's a leak there. As you can see from some of the pictures, it has migrated inside. So this is pretty urgent. It will also fund some tree clearing to get rid of some dangerous limbs. The recommendation is $15,927. Next is in Bloomingdale, the Leisure basketball court. It's in serious disrepair. They need to install a higher fence so that the basketballs don't go into the neighbor's property. They want to resurface the entire surface there and add some amenities. Now, this will require a public hearing because the recommendation is $100,000. That's the threshold. So we're recommending that the public hearing be set for the August 15th meeting, which will give us 30 days.
July.
No, August.
Oh, August.
I believe there's a resolution on tonight to advertise that public hearing. It's 30 days and then no action for 45 days after the public hearing. Next we have City Green, which is our partner with the Begin program. They have been leasing in Clifton, the Schultz Farm, which was an acquisition that we helped the city of Clifton acquire. This will go toward a new fence in the lower field, also a walking trail, continuation of removing invasive species and planting perennials, native perennials that are drought tolerant and moisture tolerant, and just good plants to have there. The bulk of the grant is for this open air farm stand. This will be, the bottom picture shows what is proposed, and this will just allow them to sell some more of the vegetables that they've already trucked around the entire county. The recommendation is $85,000. City of Clifton, for the past few years, has been applying for funding to upgrade all of their tennis courts. So we have 2 this year. First one, the first priority is Chelsea. This is by the Allwood Library, and it's basically redoing the entire surface with a new technology that allows for a much longer life of the asphalt, and then they want to install some amenities as well. The city is matching this 50%. The recommendation is $77,000. Their second priority is Dubiac Park Tennis. Basically the same project. And they've been doing these so that it's like economies of scale. They can do a couple of them and they get a better deal. Again, city is matching it, and the recommendation is $77,000. The next project came from the Clifton Veterans Avenue of Flags. This is a veterans organization in the city of Clifton, and they are asking to replace 175 American flags as well as nameplates at the City Hall complex. These flags are displayed during periods of holidays, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, 4th of July, Magic, and it's really an outstanding, beautiful display of our flags. The recommendation is for $15,370. Highlands Natural Pool, this is an organization up in Ringwood that has taken over this part. It used to be part of the Rice Ecology Center. Again, they've been funded before. They're doing amazing work up there. It's really a beautiful facility if no one's been there. And it's just some basic repairs and new ladders, new diving board, new sand and volleyball court. The recommendation is $52,347. Friends of Laurelwood Arboretum have applied again this year. They did apply last year, and the recommendation was for them to try to find some additional funding, which they did. The request has come down quite significantly. The Township of Wayne is throwing money in. They did a lot of fundraising on their own. This is a replacement of an upper greenhouse, which is from the 1930s, and it's really in a terrible state of disrepair. It's the propagation greenhouse. So the recommendation is $222,000, which also requires a public hearing. In Hale, the athletic field is currently their only park. We did fund the Belmont Town Square Park, which is in the process of being created. They're asking for $40,800 to install some decorative signage as well as some landscaping. Next, we got an application from the Hester Schuyler Colfax chapter of the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution for the Schuyler Colfax House in Wayne. This is a historic home, hoping to be a house museum right on Hamburg Turnpike. If people are aware of where the Food Truck is, it's right next to that. The grant will be used to update the study that had been done. Our Cultural and Historic Affairs Director, Kelly Ruffle, worked with them and were able to get a lower estimate on getting this study updated. The recommendation is for $14,800, and this is a very significant house in that it is one of only 3 remaining in the entire United States with a gems fireplace. That's the picture on the little right. Next is the new Weiss Center. Again, last year they were funded. This is a new nonprofit that was formed after Audubon decided to shut the place down a few years ago. This grant will help them rehab the fire escape, which will then allow them to use the 2nd and 3rd floors of the dormitory building. So they'll be able to lease those areas out for hikers, people who want to camp out for the weekend or for a week. It will also install an outdoor water fountain, replace some ceiling tiles that had been damaged when there was some flooding, and as well as prune some trees that need some of those real branches. The recommendation is for $43,583. Next is Little Falls Patterson Avenue Field, again, previously funded site. This will refurbish the dugouts and add some bleachers and fencing for safety. This is the facility on Patterson Avenue. Again, this will require public hearing, $165,000 is the recommendation. Don's Pond in North Hampton. This is a continuation of a project that they had started with this poured-in-place playground surface. It seems to be the new technology. Instead of certified mulch, they're using this poured-in-place rubber material that lasts a long time. The recommendation is for $85,000. City of Patterson submitted 2 applications for the vistas. The committee is recommending their number 1 priority, which is to just do some really intermediary improvements up here, bring in some soil, seed it, get a little bit of landscaping, and then hopefully, people will be able to use this park. And working with the National Park Service, the plan is to develop a trail from the Great Walls up to this site, and it's really got some magnificent views. The recommendation is $97,658. So there's some of the views, and there is a proposed path that has been cleared that will take you down to Ryle Avenue. Next is the Patterson Veterans Council. They would like to install 2 plaques on this county-owned bridge. From what I understand, it went to the Public Works Department for that portion of the request. And the Engineering Department, I understand, is going to recommend using corridor enhancement funds from the City of Patterson to use a county road on the side of Bride Avenue. The recommendation from the committee is for the remaining funds for $5,519, which will go toward landscaping and new flags and new trees. Plus, we're getting 3 flowering gardens there. Next is from the Pompton Reformed Church, which is a nonprofit organization. This is the preservation of the Patterson Monument. Again, Kelly Ruffle worked with the entity to submit the application, and the grant will restore the facade of this vault, mausoleum, I suppose you could call it. The recommendation is $40,000. Prospect Park would like to add a concession to their Hofstra Park, which is, again, their only park in in the borough of Prospect Park. It's right next to the new pavilion that was installed that was also generously funded by the freeholders over a couple of years. The recommendation is $75,000. Total was submitted an application for the TAL Fields Playground. This will replace older playground equipment with new ADA compliant, and again, that board in place rubber surface. This was their first priority, and the recommendation is for $91,800 to help them get started on this project. Wanakee Back Beach Park, this is the second year funding for this park. It's just ongoing improvements. They want to replace the asphalt walkways with brick pavers, fix the retaining wall by the playground, and add picnic tables and benches throughout. The recommendation is $120,000. Again, this requires a public hearing. In Wayne, Kilgore Park, they want to replace the existing playground equipment with this new ADA compliant equipment, and they also would like to add a spray park water feature. The recommendation is $200,000 and again requires a public hearing. The Wayne PAL submitted 2 applications. The committee is recommending their first priority, which is to install an in-ground swimming pool at this facility. It will be particularly for special needs community, but it will also be open to the general public. And it's going to be installed behind these picnic tables that you see. There's a very deep outfield in the softball field. The recommendation is $65,000 to get that job done. West Milford Township, you may recall Apple Acres back in 2001 received a grant to acquire this property. It took some time because there were historic pesticides. It was an apple orchard. So before it became closed, 3 acres required that that be remediated. It has now been fully remediated and closed in 2013. The grant funds will be used for engineering and construction documents to establish a walking trail, possibly a community garden, as well as possible athletic fields. The recommendation is $25,000, and the township is matching 50%. Bubbling Springs, another previously funded site in West Milford, is on Maxwell Road. This funding will help correct drainage issues at the lower field. The recommendation is $80,000. And then we have Woodland Park, Frankie Sicaria Memorial Park. This is an ongoing project. Again, we require a public hearing. $150,000 was the recommendation from the committee. And then we have 2 freeholder initiatives that also require a public hearing. The first one is the 5th year of the City Greens Dig In program. It's the community gardens installed across the 16 municipalities in the county of Passaic. This will be for the first time for the next 3 years, and the recommendation is $160,385, and most of that funding goes toward installing or continuing community gardens that exist. And finally, we have the City of Passaic Deputy Island Park Rehabilitation, which is a project that the county and the city and the Trust for Public Land are working on. This also requires public hearing. The recommendation is $100,000. So our total recommendations this year are a little over $2.6 million. Projects that do not require public hearing that I believe are being authorized this evening is $986,804, and the remaining in the public hearing, which I suppose I will be back here in August. And that's it. Any questions? Comments?
It was my great honor. It was my great honor to be the freeholder representative on the Open Space Committee. I want to congratulate Kathleen for the great job she did. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of organizing, and if people don't know that Kathleen and many of the representatives went to all these sites to try to, or as many as possible, to try to assess the the best decisions to make. And I also want to thank our Deputy Administrator, Matt Jordan, and Kelly, our historian, and others who helped with this. I think it's really important and really at the core of what we do here as a freeholder board. These are $2.6 million worth of awards, Director, as you know, and $2.6 million in some of our other projects is just a drop in the bucket. It's not much. But this $2.6 million goes a long, long way. It helps a lot of different projects, helps almost every municipality in the county in different spots. This is both urban and suburban. It hits all the different areas and shows the great diversity of the landscape that we have in Passaic County. So I'm very proud of the decisions made. And I do want to say there's been some criticism or there's been some those who would say that or questioning of our environmental commitment of this freeholder board. And I would submit, these open space awards and our commitment to the open space concept as proof of our commitment to the environment and our stewardship of it. And I do want to say, somebody might look through this list and say, well, you have a lot of physical improvements, a lot of park equipment, a lot of basketball courts, you have a lot of different improvements. And I don't think we should make any apologies for that. These are things that the towns themselves requested. They made the request. We did not tell them what to request. This is what they wanted funded and which we are helping to accomplish. But also, if our parks didn't exist or if our parks were funded at a substandard level, we've seen substandard parks. There are substandard parks in the area, whatever. When you see a substandard park or an area that is not enjoyable to the public, there's no reason for people, they look around and the town looks around, other people look around, so there's no reason why when a developer comes knocking and wants to knock down trees and clear the land, there's no one there to really fight it because no one's enjoying it, no one's using it. And people, if it's a substandard park, it's actually a blight instead on the area. Instead of when you make an improvement, it actually helps property values. It actually helps the communities. It's something people take pride in and they improve upon and they enjoy it. So I would submit this as a testament to the kind of work we do here and support this. So thank you again.
Yes. Do we ever have any other applications from churches for open space loan? Is this the first?
But actually, a couple of years ago, the Patterson Bethel AME Church submitted 2 applications. One to purchase a piece of property that they wanted to develop into a playground. There was no playground in the neighborhood over there.
That's a little bit different than this. What's the other one?
I think I remember one of the churches wanted to be I know that a number.
Probably what
This is for historic landmark. For a historic landmark of the church.
For what?
Through open space, there's
Which church? Because Bethel AME put in a park, not restored anything historic. They took a vacant lot and created a park. Quite a bit different than what we're reporting here. But this is a cemetery, and I assume it's a marker kind of thing. I don't know how that qualifies for what we do on an open space board.
Well, Freeholder, there was a bit of discussion about this and about funding a church using public funds. They are a nonprofit.
Every church is a nonprofit. There's 400 in Patterson alone.
It's also.
Every church is a nonprofit, but that's a little bit different than what the intent of this act was, I think.
This fell under the historic preservation aspect of it.
And every gravestone in Passaic County that's from an 1800 church, where you can go do rubbers and things like that, falls under that.
No.
I don't think so.
Very historic.
There's
We did discuss this, I don't know if Kelly is here tonight. She wants to jump in here.
We did discuss this, and I remember that there was the observation was made that there are no other eligible historical graveyards based on the
Cedar One does not have, even though it technically could be considered historic, it does not have designation. So so they would not be negligence for historic preservation. I know Mr. Smythe had brought up that question of the total. Did you want to hear from Kelly? Okay.
I mean, to be clear, I think that this is, it's a monument at the graveyard, not just simply the graveyard itself or the marker.
Everything in there is monument. That's what happens in the graveyard. That's what those stones are. But
But isn't it run by,
that's what a graveyard
separate group? It's not.
The church, the Reformed church is who submitted the application.
I raised my concern.
Anyone else?
Yes, first of all, I want to thank all the hard work that the commission does, a lot of legwork, goes to a lot of things, visit a lot of places. You folks really work hard on it. I just have a couple questions regarding, I too have a problem with the church. I agree with Freeholder James. It's one thing to apply for funds to purchase property to create an open park area, playground area, that's open to the public. But I'm not totally sure about this one. The other thing is, the city of Patterson put in for a couple of, not counting Patterson Council, but a couple of requests. One was recommended the entire amount of $97,000 for the Vista Park. The other one was no recommendation at this time for the master plan and construction document. But also, the one that caught my eye was NJCDC wants to work on the new Costello Park, and there was no recommendation made. Now, I don't know.
Last year, NJCDC received a grant to do a study of the Costello Park. We saw some construction, not construction records, we saw some conceptual plans, but there hasn't been any public outreach. They have not, City Council is not aware of it. They, during the presentation, they did advise us that they had a discussion with the mayor. But this is in a historic district. Again, I would ask Kelly if she could elaborate on what that entails. But because they haven't, at the time of this application, they hadn't drawn down 1 cent from the study that was going to go into this. The committee just felt like it, next year, come back next year.
Yeah, if I could, just to be clear, they did not submit those conceptual documents, and that's just conceptual until we were doing our deliberations. So they, in the year that they've had the grant, it's not as if it.
It was part of the application,
But we did, yeah, it was the full presentation of the facts. It's just not ready for prime time. I think it's a worthy project in the future. It's something it's ongoing. So we've already started. We've taken step 1. They want to move to step 2. We think it's, now is the decision of the committee. It's not quite ready for step 2.
and they also had some other outstanding plans for investment, which was older than 224 months. We take all these things into
The West Side Park application has not been acted on?
Oh, yes, it has, but they haven't drawn down all of the money. They're still, well, we just got a reimbursement request this week. I think there's still $35,000.
Well, like I said, NJCDC's done a lot for the city of Patterson. They have a huge interest in the city of Patterson. They continually work for the city of Patterson to upgrade the facilities, upgrade all the structures that they're involved in. We've done some parks. I'd like to see, hopefully, if there's I'll take the explanation for no recommendation at this time, but I really would like to see if they improve their application or go into a little more detail as to what they want to do.
Well, there really needs to be more public outreach and getting the city council on board they have to probably go to SHPO, because it is in the historic district.
What I'd ask is, in terms of the study, and we haven't got an answer, I don't think, in terms of the money that's left for the study, they've done some work with the study, or close to it, will they be using all the funds, or will there be funds left over? And if there will be funds left over, maybe we can look at repurposing it towards additional steps here before next year's application. So, you know, I would like to find out what's happening with that
I was
grant.
told that
It will be done.
I would ask also that if I just see this tonight, and everything is fine, but the church application, I do have some questions regarding it. If we can pull that as opposed to voting in its entirety, I'd like to be able to do that. I have some questions regarding it. The Pumpkin Lakes, the Reformed Church. Is that possible? We can always add that at a later date when questions are answered. Yes.
It's not a dollar amount that requires public hearing. The only will have no impact except if we're all satisfied at the tax rate for a future date this year. We don't have to go back to the public hearing.
That, and I really would like to talk to my colleagues also individually who get their point of view with that.
If I can ask that, you know, get any questions that concern, we'll sit down with Kelly and Kathleen and try to get them answered. Yeah.
And again, Captain, thank you for all of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to say you guys did a great job, and I know that you want to watch on this, and I mean, having been on a switch for so many years, I know how much work the entire team is. I respect the decisions, and I see this accurate to the next step.
There, the under $100,000 awards are on this evening's agenda, which is K60, I believe. Yeah, but it'll obviously be amended with the concerns of the freeholders have. Well, K61 is also authorized for public hearing. For August 15th.
And then we anticipate the report of the
One more thing, Bill. By the way, as I said to you in your office, these are remarkable recommendations. You guys put in an enormous amount of work, and given what you have to work with, really impressive recommendations.
Very fair.
It is. It really
We've
is.
got about $5 million in requests, so it's tough.
Yeah, you did a good job. Everybody did a good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Director, if I could just make one more comment and just kind of piggyback on what the other operator said before. I think one of the things that kind of gets lost in the shuffle here as well is that mistake project, the Riverfront project, that it's a $10 million project where we're creating a county park in an urban area that doesn't presently exist. I think that piggybacks on some of the commentary Freehold that you made earlier that you know, it's going to be a great project, and as I said, creating a park in an urban area that
Very
All right, so, looks like Ms. Feely is not going to make it. So, the Passaic County Advisory Council on Disabilities recently held their 6th Annual Champions of Disabilities Award and Art Showcase. And we are always honored to have Ms. Janice Sango here, who sits on the Advisory Council and is very passionate about what she does and very passionate about Passaic County. And we're always honored to have her here to talk about this year's awards. So welcome, Janice.
Thank you very much. So I'm very excited about this year. Will be our 6th year for the Champions of Disability Awards and the Art Showcase. And I wanted to just let everyone know that this is a fantastic program for all Passaic County residents to really look into. What we're seeking is nominations for the Champions of Disabilities Awards and the Art Showcase. And this event was started 6 years ago, and it was created to recognize the accomplishments made by those with disabilities. The 2017 Champions of Disabilities Awards and Art Showcase is through a partnership between the Passaic County Freeholders and the Passaic County Advisory Council on Disability. The Champions for Disabilities Award ceremony and art showcase will be held on Tuesday, October 17th at 10 a.m. right here in the meeting. And the Champions Awards will include recognition of the freeholders and a certificate from the county. At this ceremony, the submitted artwork will be displayed, and artists with disabilities of any age are encouraged to participate. The nominations for the Champions of Disabilities and the submission of the art showcase are now open as of today, official. And you can also find this information on the Passaic County website, featured under the spotlight, and click on that, and you'll be able to download the information either on the art showcase or on the Champions of Disabilities Awards. The nomination for the Champions of Disabilities and submissions for the art showcase, things like that, are now open. And the criteria for the Champions of Disabilities Award is for Passaic County individuals and groups who were determined to have significantly advanced the cause of people with disabilities, whether by being a model of perseverance and determination for their peers, or by creating programs and spearheading efforts that recognize their potential. And when nominating a person or a group for the award, the nominee's contributions to county residents should be emphasized. And as I said before, the nomination forms for the Champions Awards are also on the county website. And the Champions nominations must be completed and received no later than September 5th, 2017. And the art submissions are due by September 13th, 2017. And you can find more information, like I said, on the Passaic County website. And just to be clear, to the artwork that is submitted It's not judged, it's a showcase, showcasing the talents of individuals with disabilities of any age. And the program has blossomed between the Champions of Disabilities Award and the Art Showcase. And to see the faces and hear the inspirational stories that come before us for the nomination and for the art showcase, it's phenomenal. So I encourage everyone to look around, and if you know of someone who you think would fit the criteria for nominating, would have to be in a non-paid position, volunteer for the Champions of Disabilities Award. And to be able to just fill out that information, the information, the forms are on the web, and I made it a fillable PDF, so all you have to do is type in there. And it's a wonderful program, and I thank the freeholders for sponsoring this fantastic
Dennis, as always, thank you so much for all the volunteer work that you do on behalf of people with disabilities here in Passaic County, and I know elsewhere as well, but we're very honored. Thank you. And that concludes my portion of the meeting.
Okay, we'll have to review the agenda. K1 to K61, we are calling number 16 and amending K60. The review of the agenda, K1 to K61, we're calling K16. We will not be voting on that tonight. And K60 will be amended. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, we're going to amend 61 to take out the preservation of ours environment company form church, right? Is that correct? Okay, then we have an amendment, which is a technical amendment to K54. That's a resolution to allow Bear Mountain to remain open on the evening of Monday, July 3rd. In connection with the fireworks display, there's just a technical amendment there for your consideration. And then we have one lead starter, which will be K62, Madam Director, to the board through you. This is a resolution authorizing the solicitation, of a vendor to assist in organizing and hosting a race series in 2018 throughout the Passaic County Park System as a competitive contract. So we'll need 5 votes to add that. We'll need a vote to amend 54 and 60. And that's all I have. By the way, Madam Director, through you to the board, the 2 entities that were here regarding Resolution K16, I gave them a heads up as a courtesy from you that the resolution is being pulled. Instead of wasting our time, they decided to come back and for the date if and when we reconsider.
And Director, if I just could make a comment on the agenda this evening as well. Resolution K21 is acceptance of this year's water report. And K22, the corrective action plan that's required to be submitted to the state for the audit report. I know the freeholders have all seen it, but I just wanted to make mention and kudos to our finance director, Rich Cahill, and his staff. There are 2 what I call very minor comments in this year's audit report. It is the cleanest audit report in my 14-year tenure here as the administrator, and it's something to be very proud of. I know the board is very proud of it, and I just wanted to make sure that we recognize Mr. Cahill and his staff for really doing a great job. And I'll also add that for those of us who are nerdy enough, Neither of those two comments are repeat comments, which, always looks bad when you file a corrective action report and then you don't correct it the next year. So I'm also very proud to say that neither of the two comments that are in this year's report are prior year comments. So thank you, Rich.
So there's no need to go through executive session, so I need a motion to adjourn. James, roll call.
Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Best. Yes. Duffy. Yes. Lepore. Deputy Director James.
Yes.
Director Lazare.
Yes. We're going to move right in to a regular agenda. Can we have the announcement of the open public meeting?
Ladies and gentlemen, the notice requirement of the Open Public Meetings Law has been satisfied with respect to this meeting, specifying the time, date, location, and included in the end of the notice, adopted the reorganization meeting, filed with the county clerk, posted in the administration building, and mailed to 2 newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the law.
Roll call.
Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Best. Duffy. Lepore. Deputy Director James. Director Lazare.
Here. Receive the invitation, please.
O God, who provides for thy people by thy power and rules over them in love, be gracious enough to bless thy servants, our freeholders in the county of Passaic, that thy people may dwell in peace and safety through our Lord. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And a moment of silence to remember all the men and women who have died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. Thank you. And motion to approve the minutes of June 12, 2007.
So moved. Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Best.
Yes.
Duffy. Lepore. Deputy Director James. Director Lazare.
Yes. Approval of proclamation.
So moved.
Roll call.
Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Best.
Yes.
Duffy.
Yes.
Lepore. Deputy Director Lazare.
Yes.
Director James.
Yes.
Director Lazare.
Yes. Here we're going to move on to the freeholder reports. Is there anyone who would like to be heard tonight?
Yeah, I have one.
Go right ahead.
Thanks. Real pleased and happy to report that through our committee of public works, we found out that we received all of the grants that we applied for through the State Green Acres program. There were, I thought it was 4 grants in total. Was it 4 total? 4 grants in total. Phase 2 at Weaselbrook Park in Clifton for $600,000. $100,000 for the restoration of the Day Mansion Gardens. If anyone's ever been up there behind Day Mansion at our golf course, it used to be beautiful gardens that are no longer there. We're looking to bring those back to their historic beauty. I think that's a partnership also that we're working with our Rutgers Master Gardeners program, which is a great program here in the county. The Friends of Passaic County Parks, who are our partners, and also received grants. They received $200,000 for the redesign of the baseball fields at Gothelbrook Park. Another $88,500 for the installation of deer fencing at Garrett Mountain Preserve. The total is a little less than $1 million, $988,500 in grants from the state for our county park system. The county has made it one of our top priorities to invest in our parks, and we're leveraging the money that through open space, along with the money that we receive from Green Acres. And now that we have a partner with Friends of Passaic County Park, who can apply for additional grants and help us receive it to improve our parks, we're really excited about that. So close to $1 million coming to the county park system.
I I just want to add to yours. I'd like to thank the team that was actually responsible for not pushing these grants through, and that included Darren Florida, who is our Director of Sports.
Thank you, Mike.
Kelly Russell,
Thank you very much.
Director of Culture and Historic Affairs, Jonathan Pera from Engineering, and Matt Jordan. They worked so hard on this, and historically, it's never happened before that we have gotten 4 grants. The most we've ever gotten at one time was 1 grant. So I applaud you guys. You did a great job, and you should be recognized for that. One other thing. And the other thing I'd like to talk about are some activities that are going on in our parks. And we just did an online interview with Jan Northrup about this. We have so many activities going on in our parks across the county, including dog training at Gopelbrook Park, yoga, fitness training. We're going to be having movies in the parks. We're going to be having concerts in the park. And again, there is a team of people who have worked so hard to make this happen for the residents of Passaic County. And I would just like to recognize them also. And it's Patrick Alexander, who's manning the iPad over there. Again, a big proponent for our parks and pushing them forward and making them the best they can be. Jan Northrup, Daryl Sparta again, Director of the Parks, and Kelly Russell, who's from our Cultural Affairs. You guys did a great job again, the 5 of you. There's going to be so many great activities. Go to our website because you will see everything that's going to be offered and the dates that they're going to be offered. And Patrick, I know, I think you have some flyers that if anybody is interested in anything.
Back left corner on the table.
Yeah, take a look at some of the great things they have to offer because it's amazing the work that they put into this. And I know that the sessions that they've had already have been very well attended and they're only going to get better. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, just as a follow-up to that, tomorrow night is the first concert in the park, Gopelbrook Park, of the Dalton Gang. If you like percussion, it's a great band to hear. So, Kelly, 6 o'clock?
7.
7?
Yeah.
7 o'clock. Bring your blanket.
Oh, I'm also going to be doing archery up at Gannett Mountain, and there's going to be a great show, the Harlem Wizards, which is a basketball team, who will be playing against some of our police officers in the county.
And freeholders.
Yes.
Terry's playing. Terry's playing, that's the point guard.
And that's the Harlem Wizards, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So I just wanted to let me know that that's some great things. Anybody else? Communications. I need a motion for communications.
Second.
Ford Duffy.
Freeholders, Actor. Yes. Bartlett. Yes. Best.
Yes.
Duffy.
Yes.
Lepore.
Yes.
Deputy Director James. Yes. Director Lazare.
Yes. Can I have a motion to open up the public portion of the meeting? Just a reminder, if you come up to the podium, please state your name and address, write it down on the paper that's here, and you have 3 minutes. I need a roll call.
Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Best.
Yes.
Duffy.
Yes.
Lepore.
Yes.
Deputy Director James.
Yes.
Director Lazare.
Yes. Public portion is open if anyone would like to be heard.
J. Cohn, 2319 Lawrence Way, Wanakee. First of all, at the beginning of this month, I organized a trip for 26 Wanakee Reserve seniors to the Dime Mansion. We all had a wonderful time. We learned a lot, and I particularly want to compliment Maggie Puglia, who was our guide and who actually manages the Dime Mansion. It's a fantastic place, and I advise anybody who hasn't been there to go and see it. In light of that, you talked about the Ryerson Monument in the Compton Lake Cemetery. I hope you all know who Ryerson was. He was one of the most outstanding figures in Passaic County history. He was involved with Ringwood Manor. He was involved with the ironworks. He was a giant as far as this is concerned. And when I heard that they were doing his monument over, I just said, well, this is an historical monument for the county of Passaic. I hope you look at it that way and not as a church thing. Finally, I live in Wanacue, and as all of you know, we have a road that goes through Wanacue called Ringwood, and whatever we call it. We don't want to call it anything because it's probably one of the worst roads in the entire county. It's continually tied up with traffic. It has unbearable truck traffic. Since they closed Skyline Drive, every truck in the world goes through there. In the mornings and in the afternoon rush hour, morning rush hour, afternoon rush hour, you can't get anywhere in Wanacue because of this road. And I was wondering if the freeholders would authorize some sort of a traffic study. Perhaps we could alleviate this with turn lanes, with banning trucks during certain hours. It's really a horrendous experience that we all go through, those of us that live in Wanacue. And I'm sure the people in Ringwood and West Milford that have to go on that road also have a terrible time on it. I ask that you look into this. Thank you.
Good evening. About the proposed changes to Rifle Camp Park.
Name and address.
Name and address.
Kurt Schnackenberg, Clifton, New Jersey. Greetings. I'm speaking to you again about the proposed changes to Rifle Camp Park. I would like to start by recapping what the freeholders of Passaic County have planned for this park, which you have clearly stated will indeed happen. We're going to take this 183-acre park, the last such natural area in lower Passaic County, and convert nearly the entire acreage to a sporting facility for an entertainment that few citizens of Passaic County seem to be familiar with, disc golf. Rifle Camp Park was established in the 1970s with large natural areas clearly marked. A nature center was built to celebrate the passive nature of this park and the natural world that can still be found here. This small gem, precariously balanced on the top of Garrett Mountain, was clearly designed and intended for passive recreation, hiking, birding, and the peaceful contemplation of nature. I consulted the PDGA guideline document for disc golf design. You can Google it, it comes right up. You have proposed an 18-hole tournament-level course. The PDGA guidelines state, quote, most courses should have at least one configuration for beginners and casual recreation players that rarely averages more than 250 feet per par 3 hole. This works out to a maximum of 4,500 feet for an 18-hole par 54 course, end quote. 4,500 feet of fairway is a lot of trees. How wide are these fairways? 15-foot wide lanes are considered a pinch point. Most are wider. The PDGA guidelines are very clear on the amount of space a disc golf course requires. Quote, the amount of space available can sometimes depend on whether brush and trees can be removed to create fairways. Ideally, a well-balanced course is a mixture of holes that go completely through the woods, partially through woods, and mostly in the open. Fairways in the woods typically range from 15-foot wide pinch points up to 40 feet wide. 4,500 feet of fairway that is between 15 and 40 feet wide is a lot of trees. I think we must be clear about what is proposed for Rifle Camp Park and its natural areas. Your plan is to carve the natural areas into 18 fairway lanes, each 200 to 400 feet long, between 15 and 40 feet wide, to create a quote-unquote tournament-level disc golf course. You will then allow teams of players to hurl hard plastic slabs at high speed at metal targets. The park is only 183 acres in size. Your plan is not to add, quote-unquote, a disc golf course to the park, but rather to convert the existing acreage to a disc golf course by using nearly all available space for fairways and tees. There will be, for all practical purposes, nothing left of the, quote, natural areas of this park once the process is completed. This park is partially funded by Green Acres money. As I understand it, not being a lawyer, but being acquainted with several, Green Acres law clearly states that conversion of a park from passive to active use requires a public hearing with no less than 90 days published notice. I don't recall such a notice or a hearing.
Over 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Steve Young. I'm not the football player. I'm a resident of Woodland Park, a recent resident. I moved here from Essex County, Montclair. Pardon me? Yes. I moved here from Montclair a little less than a year ago. I live in Woodland Park, bordering Rifle Camp Park. I've been visiting Rifle Camp Park since I moved to New Jersey 25 years ago. I love the park, and what I see here is the plan for the course. It's terrible. The previous gentleman was absolutely correct. It will destroy the park. This park is a gem for Lower Passaic County. This is the most traffic-intense area of the county. If you're going around Route 46 lately, Rifle Camp Road, and all that construction there, it's only going to get worse to benefit a very few people who like to play disc golf. Nothing against disc golf, but what about the majority of people who want the peace and tranquility of Rifle Camp Park? I don't want you to go down. I'm a proud Democrat. I was just down at the AFL-CIO conference, endorsement conference, with 500 other union members, and I was talking to them about this. I was showing them this plan. They said, "What is it, a bunch of Republicans there?" I said, "No, they're Democrats." And it's nuts. To me, it's just plain nuts. I would urge you to change your mind on this park, because you will be known as the freeholders who destroyed the Rifle Camp Park. That will be your legacy, despite all the good things you're doing with other open space. And you are doing other good things. I don't mean to criticize that at all. But this is a travesty. Please reconsider what you're doing with this park. It's a gem for the county. It's a gem for Lower Passaic County. The residents of Patterson aren't going to come up to this park and play disc golf. No way in heck are they going to come up here and throw discs around the park. So let's leave this park for future generations, for our kids, for our grandkids, and look ahead into the future instead of allowing a minority of people who like to play disc golf control. I don't know if you saw the petitions or not. Over 1,100 people signed a petition against this plan, and a little over 100 signed in favor of disc golf. That's a 7 or 8 to 1 ratio there, and that's going to spread if this continues on. So again, I implore you, I ask you, as a fellow Democrat even, to please save this park. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Danusha Gaska, and I live in Patterson, New Jersey. I was born in Passaic County. I grew up in Passaic County. My parents were immigrants, and my childhood was hard. We were poor. Sometimes we couldn't afford food. Sometimes we couldn't even afford shoes. There was one thing that kept me going through a childhood of poverty, and that was nature. Passaic County nature. One of the most vivid memories of my childhood is watching the leaves change color in the fall. I remember that moment when I saw those leaves in the colors of flame, and I was so astounded. And I thought, holy cow, life is amazing. And then winter came, and it was cold, and the trees looked like they were dying, and the animals seemed to disappear, and it was scary, and it was dark. And I thought, oh my gosh, should I be hopeful? And in the spring, I saw the spring beauties, these little pink and white flowers coming through the earth. And I thought, wow, life is amazing. I can feel hope. I had close encounters with deer and squirrels, and it made my day. I'm sure if you observed me during the most memorable moments of my childhood, you would have obsessed me as underutilizing the environment, because I was not competing in a sport in which someone can win or lose. Sport did not give me in my childhood what I needed. Nature did. Competitive sport and nature are two different things. I'm well grown up now, and I can afford to buy food and shoes, but I'm a teacher, And many of my students come from Patterson and they come from Clifton. And they come from childhoods tougher than mine. And many of them are immigrants and many of them are minorities in countries where they're not liked because of their skin color or their religion. And even these students need nature. They have competitive sports. They have plenty of basketball fields, soccer fields, etc. When I hiked up at Rifle Camp Park in Garrett Mountain, I run into people from almost every country on earth, it feels like to me. There are people up there that are black and white and brown, and they need to get under a tree, and they need to hear water as it sounds when it's rushing over rocks. And they need to see the light change when the clouds go over the sun. And then the clouds release the sun, and all of a sudden everything is so bright and beautiful. And they need to have that experience of watching winter turn to spring, turn to summer, turn to fall, in an environment that has not been mediated by men. Yes, let's develop the park. You could have nature writing workshops. You could have nature photography workshops. I don't need to see movies in the park. I can see movies in the theater. I don't need to do yoga in the park. I can do yoga in the yoga studio. We can do stuff with kids, teach them how to recognize trees. Those kids can be empowered and made hopeful the way that I was empowered and made hopeful by nature, not by competition. Thank you.
My name is Mary Walsh. I am from Bergen County, but I represent the North Jersey chapter of the Sierra Club, which covers Bergen, Morris, and Passaic counties. My friend Jeff Rappaport from the Sierra Club and I went to Rifle Camp Park yesterday to see what all the controversy was about. The first part of the park near the entrance didn't seem particularly special, with those picnic areas with grass, large trees, and some picnic tables embedded in woods. As we walked along, however, the terrain changed. It felt more like undisturbed woods. And when we came to the pond, the sense of beauty was complete. I think it's great that you want to increase the use of Rifle Camp Park to meet the needs of the residents of the county. However, a disc golf course does not meet those needs. To take the stress off Garrett Mountain, it certainly makes sense to upgrade the roads, the bathrooms, and other facilities that force people to places like Garrett Mountain. But if you want to increase the awareness of the park, you need things that don't cost money. Families love activities that involve children of all ages. For example, there could be a special parks day that involve demonstrations of animals and birds. Local groups like the Audubon Society would love to help with that. Children can climb rocks. They can walk with their parents regardless of age. They can throw stones into ponds like the one in Rifle Camp Park. And because the park has a significant historical value, perhaps there could be more Revolutionary War reenactments, like those held in parks in Bergen County. Children also love it when the reenactors walk around with their guns or shoot off cannons. You have a historical commission in the county, which I'm sure could assist in expanding that use of the park. As Jeff and I continued our walk, my focus went to the numerous trees that would be removed for these proposed changes. The smaller ones, which had probably taken about a dozen years to grow, have the purpose of absorbing water and thus preventing erosion. Removing those trees will cause the dirt that is left to erode when it rains because of the numerous hills in the park. The dirt will flow down the west side into the reservoir at the base. This sediment will degrade the water quality and can carry soil-absorbing chemicals. Although your Parks Department doesn't use any fertilizer, there is a film on the road from the traffic. Anyone who has driven on the Cadam after a period of no rain can attest to its slickness. This combination of oil and tar normally goes into the woods that are next to it, and trees there absorb the chemicals. However, without those trees, the chemicals will flow down to the reservoir. In addition, removing trees in the center of the park for a dog park will increase the water that will flood. Okay, all right. I would just like to ask you if you will accompany me on the red and yellow trails sometime. It will take about an hour of your time. You don't have to all come together, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 people at a time. I would be delighted to do that. I'll leave you my card.
To express my concern in regards to Rifle Camp Park. I grew up in Clifton for many years, and I came to know more. I stumbled upon this park by accident, and ever since I fell in love with the park, I feel connected with nature, and it kind of reminds me like how in the Bible Jesus connected with people through nature. So I feel like that park has been like a temple for me when I was a teenager and I was depressed. For my younger sister who is in the Army, when she came stressed, she always goes to the park to connect with nature and feel better. And as I found out about this proposal, I was like, first and foremost, I'm like, what is a golf course? I thought it was like a regular golf course, and I'm like, but there's other golf courses out there. Right now in these times, it feels like we need more trees and less oil and less golf course. I don't want my taxes to go to a place that, I don't want my taxes to go where trees are chopped. So yeah, I disagree more than ever. We need less forestation, and we already lost a lot of land with the apartments there in Clifton, with the senior apartments. What else I wanted to say? And I also appreciate that land is historical. As far as I learned, George Washington and his troops were there. I'm not even born here, but I appreciate the historic lands there, and I like to share with my family who comes and visits, and I can explain the history to them, and then they get like amazed and they view nature, and it's beautiful. It's an amazing thing, and I think it's a waste of money and a waste of time for this to happen for a group of people that they want to compete. Like previous friends here expressed about the golf courses, just doesn't make sense. So I hope you guys take this in consideration, that in this time, if you believe in God and if you appreciate what He has created, we should preserve our parks and we should preserve our planet. Like the French president said, make planet Earth great again. Thank you.
Diane Connor, 76 Washington Avenue, Clifton, New Jersey. I have a letter here that I'm going to read tonight. It's from Don Torino. He's the president of the local Audubon Society, the Gordon County Audubon Society. He could not make it here tonight, so I'm going to read his letter. This is about the Rifle Camp Park Disc Golf. Dear Passaic County freeholders, first let me say I sincerely apologize for not being able to attend this important meeting tonight. As president of Bergen County Audubon Society, the local chapter of the National Audubon Society, which represents not only Bergen and Hudson counties, but also many communities in Passaic County, such as Greenwood, Wayne, and West Milford, among others. I sincerely know in my heart that all of you can truly understand the permanent harm that would be done to this important and unique habitat if the disc golf course is approved. I have had the privilege of meeting and talking to a few of you over the years, and I know you share my passion for the environment and places like Rifle Camp Park. The experience of enjoying and exploring wild places cannot and should not be reserved only for the people that are privileged to live in the northern part of the county, but it should also be there for the families and especially our children that live in towns where our natural places are fast disappearing. While the disc golf course may be a good idea for some places in the county, such an environmentally sensitive place like Rifle Camp Park, it surely is not, as it will harm migratory species of birds, already being harmed by climate change and habitat loss. I do very much share your view that more people should be using our parks, and I look forward to working with the county to find ways to reach that goal, the way we have in the New Jersey Meadowlands and Ringwood State Park. I urge you to please not approve this plan for the future of our wildlife, communities, and future generations. Signed, Don Torino, President of the Bergen County Audubon Society. I would like to also state that I would like to thank all of the fabulous protesters and the wonderful job they've been doing protesting. We've got people, I'm a member of Bergen County Audubon, I'm not an officer. We've got Friends of Garrett Mountain, we've just got people that are not affiliated with anything, and I think our protesters are wonderful. We do a great job of coming here to speak with you people and to make wonderful signs and write letters to the editor. And I would like to also say that the editor of The Record wrote a fabulous editorial against this. And also the New Jersey Audubon Society is opposed to this project. All right, well, I'm going to give you this.
Hello, I'm a long-term resident of Wayne, New Jersey. And when this issue popped up, I said, you know.
Take your name and address, please.
I'm sorry?
Name and address.
My name is Jeffrey Rappaport. My address is 69 Allen Drive in Wayne. Got it? Okay. As a long-term resident of Wayne, and when this issue popped up, my first reaction was, you know, why bother? Now I can go to Northern State Park. We have so many forests and large areas to hike in here and in nearby Bergen County. And I said, you know, why bother? And then Mary asked me to take a look at it. And it's just not much like this kind of open space in the eastern part of Bergen County. It's just not there for kids to experience it and to you know, see the wonders of nature. And it was a peaceful place. It was something that, from what I'm hearing, this particular development would destroy. So I don't have Mary's or other people's science ability in terms of these types of local issues, but I do get involved with climate change. I'm the issues coordinator for the Sierra Club, and I said, gee, that's so important. But what's happening, what I'm noticing what's happening all over is local government that has the impact, whether it's Jersey City, whether it's all different places. And I just want you to know that you have the really important in this. What you do here is important. And I would hope you take it that way, because it doesn't seem like much, and that's the way I felt about it, but it is. So I would encourage you to take up the offers, to just see how it feels to be there. And imagine all the paved roads and everything that surround it. Where else can a kid go to get some experience? And when I was there yesterday, I saw a number of them. Thank you for getting involved in this. It's really very important.
Good evening. I'm Vera Lazar. I'm from Clifton. And I'm here tonight to ask you, the freeholders, once again, to reconsider the plan to install a disc golf course at Rifle Camp Park. A disc golf course is an extremely inappropriate activity to be placed at Rifle Camp Park. Rifle Camp is one of the last remaining natural areas in Lower Passaic County, as we have heard from others as well tonight. This project would have a highly detrimental impact on the forest ecosystem and negatively impact important migratory bird habitat. Over 100 trees will be taken down. Fragmentation of the forest will directly impact the Garrett Mountain important bird area. Removal of woody debris and snags will eliminate wildlife habitat. Disturbance will encourage the growth and spread of invasive species. Injury to trees via soil compaction and direct hits will weaken existing trees and make them susceptible to insect attack and disease. Soil erosion and sedimentation will cause further environmental degradation, impacting wetlands and local water resources. The disc golf course will also eliminate passive recreation use at the park. Rifle Camp is the only park in Lower Passaic County that offers passive recreation in a natural environment. The county has stated that Rifle Camp is an underutilized area. However, according to the master plan, Rifle Camp is the second most used park in the county. If the county does wish to bring in more people, there are ways to do that without destroying the environment. It should also be clearly understood that the current planned project is not consistent with the open space master plan. It's been stated that you need to consider the 500,000 residents. Well, Passaic County residents have given input into the master plan via meetings and surveys. The results show that a large majority of residents express a need for hiking and nature trails. And in fact, the restoration of 3 guided nature trails at Rifle Camp was included as a priority in the master plan. But instead, now the park's nature trails will be used for the disc golf course, and the forest will be severely reduced. And to conclude, this is not about one small group of nature lovers, as some would try to make it seem. This is about protecting the environment. This is about preserving one of the last remaining natural areas of Garrett Mountain. And this is for everyone. This is for the people of Lower Passaic County. This is about preserving this important natural resource for future generations. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Christopher Takis. I live at 720 Olive Street, Lyndhurst, New Jersey. I'm president of Friends of Garrett Mountain Reservation. I'm also a board member of Bergen County Audubon Society. And I appreciate that Don Torino took the time to put a letter together. We've done a lot of good in Passaic County. We started doing projects with the new Weiss Center, and we'll be leading and doing walks up there coming up in the next month or so. So glad to hear about all the work that's being done with the parks. I love the fact that there's a lot of grant money going to the parks now. But we all know that this disc golf course is not for the 550,000 people of Passaic County, but it's for a small special interest group, which mostly comprises the residents from outside of Passaic County. It is not in the county's plans for improvements for Rifle Camp Park, as presented to the Friends of Garrett by Matthew Jordan. I said it was an afterthought. And it came in and it was said, this is what we're going to do. I believe it's being promoted by the Friends of Passaic County Parks for some of the friends and some of the workers in Passaic County. So I've come to this conclusion when I turned away Passaic County employees who wished to join our Friends of Garrett Mountain Facebook page. A few of those employees were also members of various disc golf course Facebook pages. I don't believe in the coincidences. I believe that this came from right here in this building. Garrett Mountain, including Rifle Camp Park, is the last little bit of natural area in Lower Passaic County. It needs to be preserved for trails, for nature, and for wildlife. The residents of Passaic, Patterson, and Clifton need this close by as the county intended when they purchased these lands. Nature exists here. The children of these towns and the cities need this. Don't take it away from the children. Don't take this nature away from them and make them go up county to see what's right here on Garrett Mountain. Garrett Mountain needs to be preserved. One of the freeholders told me that times were changing and that changes needed to be made in how the parks were presented. Well, the changes that we need to save are to save these fragile, beautiful places, enhance them, repair the great vintage stonework, restore the parks to their original beauty, not turn them into an amusement park. That's what the people need, that's what the people want, and that's what the children need. Don't take it away from the children, please.
Skip Bartlett, 151 Edwards Road, Clifton. I am chairman of the CAD board. This has nothing to do with Rifle Camp, even though it has to do with open space and all. We applied for to have a piece on 101 Old Penn Road assessed for farmland preservation over 60 days ago. We haven't heard anything back from you. But I'm curious why it's not being processed. All right, I mean, I do realize that you guys have, out of the budget for that has been passed by the voters to preserve farmland preservation and all, out of that budget of this year alone, you've taken over $5 million out of it if you pass all the things that Kathy wants to do, which I give her committee I have great respect for it. But if we're going to preserve some of these farms, you can't keep taking all the money. And again, I just don't understand why we have not heard back and why we have not been able to appraise this farm to see it and have it move forward. If you could get back to me on that, I would appreciate it, so I know what's going on with this.
Yeah, just the one over road.
Right.
In Wayne?
Right. And over 2 months ago, we asked for that to be appraised, and no word has come back why not, or why we can't go forward with this. So I would like to know what's going on. It's a cost, I guess, from the FOTEC.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, so if you could get back to me on that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, Ann Schneiderberg, 268 Washington Ave, Clifton, New Jersey. I'm here tonight to ask you once again to please motion and end your plan for our adding disc golf course to our Rifle Camp Park and our Audubon State IBA in Point Bird area. You've heard from the Audubon Society and the Sierra Club and the Friends of Garrett Mountain and the editor of the Record and the people of Lower Passaic County and all of Passaic County. Please do the right thing and put this to an end. There's a lot of discussion tonight about open space. Well, deforestation, habitat destruction, and recreational overdevelopment and urbanization of this last large stand of natural public open space is not an enhancement or embellishment, and it's extremely inappropriate, especially because it's located in the heart of a highly populated demographic area, and we and our children deserve it to be preserved. This is really a matter of environmental justice. Please do the right thing. Your constituents have clearly asked for more hiking and nature trails and more passive and open space, like the Paxton Quarry to connect Rifle Camp and Garrett Mountain, to increase those types of trails, not to reduce them. It's in your own master plan and survey. Please be good stewards of this land and be good representatives of the people who elected you. Leave a healthy natural legacy and safeguard this special place, this special parcel of open public space for Lower Passaic County families. Do it today. No proper public notice was ever given to your constituents. As far as we know, clear cutting for the disc golf fairways could begin tomorrow. As word gets out about your so-called improvement plan for Rifle Camp Park, objections continue to increase. Elections are coming and we're not going away. Please, don't let this be your legacy. Do the right thing. Save Rifle Camp Park. Do it today.
Seeing no one else voting, move to close the public portion.
Thank you. Duffy and
Freeholders, Apter. Yes. Bartlett. Yes. Best. Yes. Duffy. Yes. Ford. Yes. Deputy Director James. Yes. Director Lazare.
yes.
If I could just address there's not a whole lot to do on Ringwood Avenue. As you well know, the town just did a streetscape beautification project. It is a one-road town to alleviate traffic. Steve, I don't know if there's any report that we could come up with that would alleviate traffic on Ringwood Avenue. I mean, as you know, obviously as the towns around there get built up more and more, it's a problem. But there's really no solution. I know many years ago, I guess there was
There's the old railroad right away we looked into.
right, and that hit resistance at the time, I think, within the town. But I wish I could tell you that there's something that we could do, but there's no study that's going to alleviate the traffic on Ringwood Avenue. It's just a fact of life.
Yeah, and Director, if I may, Jay, you brought up the issue about not allowing trucks on that roadway. Trucks are a vital component of the business community. Not allowing trucks on Ringwood Avenue would have a devastating effect on the business community all along Ringwood Avenue, especially in Wanacue. So I don't think that's a request that would work, either to alleviate traffic, or I think the harm that it would create would override any benefit that you may get with a little less truck traffic. But I concur. It's a busy roadway. I mean, the Wanacue Reserve is how many people? 1,400 that weren't there 10 years ago. So, every time there's a development project, I mean, Bloomingdale's got some development going on, and all the areas around Ringwood Avenue have a lot of development projects going on. So that's going to have an impact. You just can't keep adding people and expect the roadway to absorb it time after time. I wish there was something they could do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No relation. About the
Yeah, I don't know who you addressed the letter to. I have not seen the request, although Kathleen, didn't we, when we first talked about this many years ago, and I want to say it's probably 5 years, there was appraisals
There
done?
were appraisals done. I no longer sit on the CADB, so I really don't know what the status is. Probably the request would have come through the CADB.
Okay, the best I can offer is I'll make some phone calls and try to find out.
Because it was processed and went in months ago, and they're looking to move on it because there's a family who want to get out of it. So if you're going to preserve the farm, that's the whole idea behind the bill. I would like to see it moved on.
Yeah, again, this is the first I'm hearing that we've been asked if that was even resurrected. I know at least 5 years ago, right, Kathleen, that we first started talking about that?
ES was on the open space. He was a big proponent for it. That's where the chicken farm used to be, across the street. There was a lot of discussion about using farmland preservation money to secure the area from developers. I think even Wayne, the township of Wayne was on board with it.
Wayne submitted the original application.
But there were some issues with
Well, I can tell you, and I don't know currently what the situation is, but
Kathleen, I just asked you to phone so the microphone picks you up. I'm sorry.
We're going to say access. What's the issue with access?
well, there was an idea that the culinary school at PCTI could use the property to grow some food, but the property owners who live right on Old Road did not want people accessing it that way. But the other issue that came up, it's in an estate. There are 3 sisters, and initially they wanted, the son of one of the sisters who lives there wanted to do farmland preservation. But when they found out that they would still be owning the property, they're just, farmland preservation just buys the development rights. The other 2 sisters they just wanted to sell it outright, which is there's much more money involved. And I don't know, I can't speak to what it is currently,
But if they did submit another application to the CATV, I would recommend that somebody speak to Jason.
And I do recall that because of the access, basically using the homeowner's driveway that we talked about, the lower end accessing off an existing development below that. But then there was issues with that as well. So as we're talking about it, I'm recalling something.
And the son of one of the sisters wants to continue to farm, so the PCTI is out of the question.
Thank you.
That's as much as I know.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Just out of curiosity, will we even get involved in an appraisal if there's not a family agreement on whoever owns it now, on what is going to be done with the property?
If they submitted an application, then if the CATV deems it.
Can I speak?
Absolutely.
The whole idea behind the whole, the bill itself, when it passed, was the idea to save the family farm. Okay? One member of the family wants to preserve the farm. They can't come up with enough money to buy out the two sisters. So by giving them 60% of what it's worth, they're able to buy out the other one, so they can continue to farm it, and then remain the farm for the rest of its life.
Well, it has to be.
Right. And that's the whole idea, and that's why the bill was supposedly originally presented. But without having the appraisals, you will never know whether or not they can do it.
Well, who put in that thing? Who's in charge?
I am no longer on the CATV, Mr. Bartlett.
I'm chairman of the committee.
Yeah, which field is there?
No,
You're asking us.
right, but we sent it down to you.
Well, who'd you send it down to?
Now, okay, so that would have been,
I don't know. That's what we need.
Jason would have submitted it. And that was 3 months ago, over 2 months ago. And then nothing's come back with it. Now, I've gotten several calls on this, and I'm like, don't have an answer to this, people, because I can't think we are going to appraise it or not. And I also realized that in 2016, there was $40,000 put aside for appraisals. So I don't know, it can't be the financial.
I don't know what it is, but.
Because it's only like $6,000 out of 2 appraisals to go out.
Until we find out for our employees.
I'm almost certain we actually had appraisals on that.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, too.
We had appraisals originally. Well, I mean, they didn't have to be. Obviously, they didn't have to be.
They might have to be updated.
But then I'm sure the situation changed because the person had passed away, so now it's up. That's why I like to see it moving.
Okay, we'll get.
Give me a day or two to figure out.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, there aren't many people left who want to put their land in the farmland preservation. We don't have that many requests.
Right.
So the money's there.
That's a lot of money.
I just want to say, I had no plan to say anything tonight, but Mr. Takas, you continually come to these meetings and attack one of our employees, and I think...
I did not attack any employee today.
You made an accusation that... Excuse me. Okay, I just want to tell you my point of view. I took it as you were making accusations against someone in this room and the Facebook page for Friends of the Park. We don't do this underhanded. Everything's up and open and on the table.
I'm just telling you what happened. Employees of the park, employees of the county wanted to join. I didn't know who they were until I looked at them.
Sir, there's no back and forth. We're respectfully listening to you. So
You're not treating me fairly. That's what you're not doing.
respectfully listening to you. We didn't go back at you. She's got a right to her opinion, and she's expressing it. She was kind enough to listen to you, and I think you should be kind enough to listen to her. This is not a debate. That's not how it works. We gave everybody the time to speak up here, and now it's her time to respond, and that's what she's doing. So let's all try to be respectful. We don't have to agree on things. We may or may not agree on some things, but at least let's be respectful.
So I respectfully request that when anyone comes up to this podium, that you try to be a little more respectful toward the employees of this county and the people who work for everyone. Thank you. Okay, we move on to the motions on the consent agenda. I need a motion to accept the consent agenda with. We need a motion to add case 62.
And amendment for
To amend, right, and to close
I have a question before you go to call. Just on 62, real quick, it says a race series. I'm just trying to find out what type of racing it is. Is it running, bicycling, cars?
Now, on the late starter for the three of us, I have a question of what type of racing it is.
That was,
Right now, if on the late starter, authorizing the solicitor or member of system organizer hosting a race series, what type of racing the three of us best wanted to know what type of racing?
I believe Matt Jordan was handling it, so I believe it was 5K type racing.
Okay, so running, not bicycling.
Motion was made by James and seconded by Bartlett.
Correct.
Yes.
Freeholders, Actor. Yes. Bartlett. Bass. Yes. Duffy. Yes. Ford. Deputy Director James. Director Lazar.
Yes. I need a motion for K1 to K62. I thought I didn't have to.
Put on the record.
Second.
Who was the first? James and Bass.
Freeholders, Actor. Yes. Bartlett. Yes. Bass.
Yes.
Duffy. Yes. Ford. Yes. Deputy Director James. Yes. Director Lazar.
Yes. Can I have a motion to move the personnel?
Second.
James and Ford, roll call.
Freeholders, Actor. Yes. Bartlett. Yes. Bass.
Yes.
Duffy. Yes. Ford. Yes. Deputy Director James. Yes. Director Lazar.
Yes. Can I have a motion to approve bills and bills?
Second.
James and Ford.
Freeholders, Actor. Yes. Bartlett. Yes. Bass.
Yes.
Duffy. Ford. Yes. Deputy Director James. Yes. Director Lazar.
Yes. We have a motion for certification payroll.
Freeholders. Freeholders, Actor. Bartlett. Bass. Yes. Duffy. Yes. Ford. Yes. Deputy Director James. Director Lazar.
Yes. Are we receiving the
Received the file.
motion to accept?